is an Unspoiled Network podcast.
This is Unscrupled, covering Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 5, Episodes 12 and 13, Checkpoint and Blood Ties. In these episodes, it's fucking early, guys. Our coffee hasn't even kicked in yet. This is how much we love you. Welcome to Unscrupled. Well, howdy there, bitches.
Howdy there, money.
Yeah, so you can hear it in her voice. Yeah, it is currently 8 a.m., which is too early to be doing this shit, but we want to make sure that we never miss a week again, because missing things is terrible, except for school, which, like, apparently Buffy is still in.
Yeah, theoretically, she's in college.
I mean, yeah, these were, like, I didn't really like the first one.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was just kind of, like...
Yeah, it's
a lot of... It feels like one of those episodes that they do every once in a while, like, let's reintroduce the characters and make sure everyone knows exactly what they're up to and who they are and their background. Mm-hmm. And then finally, in the last 5 minutes, we'll drop something in. It's like that episode... Bomb. Remember that episode of Alias where it goes into her background and then it drops the bomb about her parentage?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it really reminded me of.
Okay.
So.
Well, yeah. So in this episode, we have the Watchers Council making a stop in Sunnydale to be assholes.
The fuck are they doing with their time? Like, I don't understand. They have no slayers.
Well, yeah, and Buffy makes that point. It's like, you guys are pretty much just watching Masterpiece Theater.
I don't, like, where does their revenue come from? Like, I know it's weird, guys, to care about what these supernatural watchers things base their revenue on, but, you know, as someone who has to pay bills, that's important to me.
It's England. They probably have, like...
an endowment?
Some kind of old money coming from land that's not super... Like, in Pride and Prejudice, where they're like, oh, he's got 15,000 a year, and that's like his yearly income based on his holdings. Maybe they have holdings, and this is and they live off the interest.
I'm actually kind of wondering if maybe, like, when people retire from the Watchers Council, like when people retire for government, they go work for shady people like Wolfram and Hart, and then they give money back to the endowment.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's like how Harvard works.
Yeah, exactly like how Harvard works.
Right. They teach you to be pompous and to fuck up the world, and then once you're fucking up the world, you give them back money so that they can train the next generation of fuck-ups.
Yeah. That's what we like to call an old boys club.
Right.
Yep.
So, I was also a little confused as to why Buffy didn't tell them to go fuck off earlier. Like, I didn't understand Giles's deference.
Oh, they said they had important information about Glory, and she's grasping at straws. She needs any information about Glory, because she hasn't got very much, and she doesn't... Everything she's thrown at this bitch seems to bounce right off.
I just feel like there had to be a weak link in that group, and I'm willing to bet it was the woman.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, maybe if Spike asked her.
Possibly.
She seemed pretty down.
Yeah. So the Watchers Council is in town, and they're coming for a visit and an appraisal, and they're going to test Buffy because, like, that works out so well last time.
Yeah. I think they want to get her under their control, and they only have one script. So they're gonna say, well... It failed last time, but maybe we just didn't do it pompous enough.
The Watchers Council is the Democratic National Committee of the Buffyverse.
In what way? Do expand
They keep fucking up, and they decide the best way to move forward is to just be more pompous.
Yeah, let's just do the
Let's
same
lose
damn thing.
every election, and then decide that the problem is we're not being poofy enough.
poofy, huh?
Right. Yeah, they blame their constituents rather than themselves for the mistakes they make.
Huh.
Like, people are still mad about people voting for Ralph Nader. And I'm like, you know what? The statute of limitations on that is way the fuck up. Like, maybe you should have done something to appeal to them instead of swing voters who were like, well, I don't like... I like the Democrats, but they're not racist enough. So if they were just a little bit more racist, I'd vote for them. And, like, guys, come on.
Is that how swing voters work?
I mean, that's how they
that's how we court. Well, that's how they court them.
Think swing voters work.
Yeah,
the actual swing voters, the only swing you can really find are people who don't vote, and you need to energize them to vote.
Yeah,
the Democratic National Committee and the DCCC still think that what we need to do is peel off some conservatives. It's like, no, they're not going to do that. They voted for Trump.
Yeah.
Like, there's, and also when you're given a choice between a Republican and a Republican light, they're gonna choose the Republican every damn time.
Yeah, it's true. Because they're tougher and more manly, and we're conditioned to like that.
Yeah. So, anyway, I'm angry about politics because I was listening to a podcast in the car yesterday. So, yeah, the Watchers Council is here, and supposedly they have information on Glory. I don't know where they got this information.
Probably their heap of old musty books.
This sounds terrible, but I kind of feel like maybe they should just be keeping some Cordelias of the world cloistered so that they can get some actual information that doesn't require, stalking demons and hoping that they reveal all their secrets to write down in books for later.
What information do the Cordelias of the world
They have visions and shit.
Oh, the vision people.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've got a few.
I mean, if they did something like that where they say, like, yeah, we've been keeping people with visions sort of cloistered away in these little communities, and we just sort of write down their visions, that would go a long way to explaining why these books are so thorough.
Like the Watchers Protection Society, where it's like, yeah, we're protecting you and farming your thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any respect for the Watchers Council, so it's not like I'd lose anything.
Oh, yeah.
But it would make a lot more sense in the world. But, so they have information on Glory, but they're going to test Buffy first. And, like, I don't know why this involves physical tests, other than, like, we have a stunt woman budget that we need to spend, or else we won't get it next year.
Because they were things specifically designed to throw these guys off. They wanted to make them feel small and powerless, and like they needed an all-knowing daddy society of assholes to come and help them. And it totally worked. I mean, Buffy was like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to know shit in Japanese. What the fuck? But the test is starting. I have to
Why Japanese? That language has only existed for about 50 years.
Japanese?
Yeah, because, like, after World War II, they decided, okay, like, we have this island of Japan that is one nation, and everyone has their own different dialects. We're going to have a common language that everyone learns in school, and, like, if they want to, they can still speak their dialect at home. But here, this will give us a leg up.
Okay, well, yeah, that is true, but it also created Japanese national identity, which they did have before. They're like, Japanese as we know it did exist before the end of World War II.
Yeah, but the Japanese I learned in school, like, that is, like, there's a reason it's super easy to conjugate, in that they've really simplified it and said, okay, here's, like, a baseline that everyone knows and learns.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the thing is, in simplifying it, it's still the second hardest language in the world. We are getting off track.
I don't think we are, because, like, this detail's important that they, like, I don't know, why Japanese? Is it just for the otaku fans?
No, it's because she was doing martial arts, and people think all martial arts are in Japanese. Notice he didn't say karate. He was like, in judo, blah, 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 the Japanese names for them. It's like, guys, judo isn't necessarily, like, Japanese. Judo comes from lots of different countries. Anyway, it was some bullshit designed to throw her off her game and make her feel vulnerable and like she needs them. And it's a masterful mind game if you're dealing with teenagers, which they are.
Mm-hmm.
Giles should have seen right through it, and Buffy sees through it eventually.
Yeah, that's kind of what bothered me. It's like how long it took her to see through this. Because I get the gaslighting thing and how this operates. I just feel like Buffy's been through this before. Yeah,
but she's kind of been missing, like, having the council behind her in some way. Like, it's been something they've mentioned in a lot of episodes this year, where, you know, Giles has to go to England to see the council because they need support that the council used to provide. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they haven't got it right now. So
I would be building other institutional avenues for support.
Yeah, but that takes time and effort, and Buffy's time is kind of all used up at the moment, what with, like, slaying, and her mom being sick, and college, and, you know, this weird being who seems to be hell-bent on making everyone in town crazy and destroying her sister. So, like, Buffy's plate's just a little bit full right now. She can't sit around and, you know, create the institution of scholars. They're going to back up her mojo.
That's a job for, like, again, for the Cordelias of the world who are like, let's build some relationships. Oh, you can meet the Slayer.
We don't have Cordelia. We have Giles and we have Anya and we've got Willow and Tara and, God help us, Xander. And none of those people are good at that thing.
Nope. So, yeah, they need a rainmaker. They need, like, you know what they need? They need fucking Wolfram and Hart.
Yes, we all need Wolfram and Hart, but they don't have it. So they've got to work with what they've got.
All right, so they're coming to town. They're going to give her a physical test, and they're also going to sort of audit how she does her slaying, which involves interrogating other members of the Scooby Gang.
Yes. So, let's see. They start with Willow and Tara, who have that awkward thing where it's like, oh, our relationship? And you can see it. I kind of enjoyed this the first time. I found it less appealing this time. But the thing where they like, oh, wait, can we tell people we're gay? Wait, we should tell people we're gay.
Yeah, they should totally come out. I was expecting a line that is kind of probably not okay for network television, but when he says, are you guys registered as practicing witches? And, like, I wanted Willow to go, oh, you mean like the Jews? Because Willow is a Jew?
Yeah. It's like, I'm sorry, but my people don't register for shit
Yeah,
anymore.
No, we don't like numbers.
And also, witches have totally been burned at the stake because their names ended up written down somewhere. So let's just not with the registering fucking witches.
I feel like there was a lot of girl power to tell this asshole off, and I was really hoping for that, and it didn't happen.
Well, because the entire point of the episode is that they're intimidated by authority figures, and that still holds a lot of sway over them until Buffy's like, wait a minute, I'm an authority figure. Fuck you.
Yeah. Willow and Tara don't have a whole lot to do. I guess I'm happy that Tara's here. Mm-hmm. At least they're not just forgetting that Willow has a girlfriend because, like, you know, when you're with someone, they're a big part of your life. And I don't like it when shows are like, oh, they're going to do this friendly thing, but the significant other is just not going to be around because it's not convenient for the script. And it's like, no. It almost feels real. If only we knew what their actual relationship was like.
Yeah.
Like, I know they like cats, but that's kind of a lesbian cliche.
I think they probably just kind of chill out, make food together that's, like, weirdly Asian influenced, but not really.
Yeah.
And do spells and fuck. I think that's how they spend their days.
I just, like, I want to see a scene of them getting high and arguing about philosophy like you do when you're in college.
Yeah, it's true. And, like, do they see other people, like, not, like, romantically, but, like, do they go out and do stuff together, or is it just kind of hiding out in the dorm room? I
am totally okay with the W word, where it's just Willow's adventures as a newly out gay woman in college. Like, and a witch, you know?
Yeah.
Don't need any demons or vampires or anything. Just her, like, finding her way and figuring out her lesbian bona fides. So.
Yeah.
But that is not this show.
No.
Is there a show like that?
Maybe.
I've never seen the L Word, guys.
I'm pretty sure it's on the WB if there is.
Okay.
And I haven't seen it.
So, yeah, so Xander and Anya are being interrogated, and Anya's super paranoid about it being discovered that she's a former demon.
Yeah, I think she thinks they're going to come exterminate her, and frankly, I cannot blame her.
Yeah, I can't either. I just so want some other stories of, like, what... I want to know what run-ins she's had with the Watchers Council in the past.
Yeah, this was an excellent opportunity to bring up some stuff where she's like, yeah, they ruined one of my wishes, like, in the 1600s, and I barely got out of Hampton alive, or whatever.
Right. So, yeah, it's Anya. Anya has so much. I just want to, like... The Anya tapes, like Handmaid's Tale style, just her in a fucking tape recorder telling stories.
Oh my god, because she would she'd be really nervous at first, and then she'd settle into it, and then she'd get kind of bored and ask for like food while she was talking. It's like, can I get some chicken wings in here?
Yeah, but also she has a very distinct personality that would really color how the story is told, which is one thing.
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like The Handmaid's Tale was missing in that, like Offred was just kind of telling what happened and sad the whole time.
Well, yeah, but it's that kind of story. Anya's story would be full of, like, adventure and scandal and women done wrong. It would be so exciting and wonderful.
Yeah, but she would also, like do what we do, where we come up with insulting nicknames for people we didn't like, you know?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, she had this boyfriend, and I forget his name, but he was kind of pudgy. I'll call him Pudgy Guy.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So Anya's super scared, but she won't shut up about it. Like, it's super obvious, Anya.
Yeah. Born on the 4th of July. Who's our little patriot?
Raised in Indiana.
By both a mother and a father.
I mean, yeah. And then Xander has nothing to offer because he's just...
Well, they question his worth, and, really, don't we all?
I mean, he does have soldier training. I feel like
that's faded a bit.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still mad that he hasn't figured out how to make wooden tipped bullets. I think that would be super helpful.
Yeah. I mean, all he needs is I don't even know what you need to do that.
Well, he's in construction. I'm sure he can find someone who can teach him how to smelt and
smelt lead.
Yeah.
Throw a little tooth.
Build a mold.
Just impregnate each bullet with a toothpick and you're done.
Well, that's provided the bullet explodes.
Oh, okay. So, no. Because if you have the tip of the toothpick sticking out, you're fine.
Ah, okay. So it's actually sticking out.
Yeah.
All right. But, yeah, I mean, he could do this.
Mm-hmm. Or, oh, shoot, you don't even have to make the bullets if you're doing that. You just have to, kind of drill out the front part and just stick toothpicks in them.
Uh-huh.
That could work, maybe. Probably go hideously wrong. You'd have to do a lot of tests.
Yeah. This reminds me of why I'm so sad about The Walking Dead.
Because I don't know.
Well, because when I read the comics, they spend a lot of time saying, okay, well, how are we going to build a society? Like, what are we going to do for technology? And it was really cool to say, okay, we're going to dig trenches around our community. But it's instead of just like a moat, it's going to be a maze.
Oh, wow.
And then they're going to park dead cars so that there's obstacles for the zombies to get around. And we'll take the dirt we dug out and we'll put it behind the walls so that we can stand behind the walls. Mm-hmm. And it also keep the walls secure because they're made of wood. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this is really cool. Like, how are we as people who have our own two hands to work with going to build something? And I'd like them to work on their technology a bit rather than just fucking stakes and crossbows.
And relying on Willow to create artificial sunlight out of magic.
Right.
Which never goes well.
It does not. Why artificial sunlight is so close to Olaf in Formula, I'll never know.
No, Olaf was in a crystal that they fucked with, and that's how he got out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So check to make sure the crystal is occupied before you do your spell?
Yeah, like, I'm sure there's a way to tell.
Right. So that's Xander. Giles is worried about being deported, but I don't know. I feel like Giles has the resources to have a green card.
Yeah, but they could have it pulled. I mean, bureaucracy is such that, like, you can do anything at any time and have people deported. That's why keeping jobs in this country is so terrifying for immigrants. Cause
yeah,
they
no shit.
Need it. Half the people at my work are just like, yeah, I'm not ever going to do anything to make waves. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I thought Giles was savvy. Like, at parting the Watchers Council, I figured he would figure out a way to have his, like, block off the Watchers Council's avenues of revenge. Yeah. But apparently no. He's been enjoying being Ripper and fucking this beautiful black woman who I really wish would come back. Like, I'd really love to see, like, who she is and what she's about. Yeah.
How did she know Giles? Was she attached to the Watchers Council somehow? Was she a freelancer? Was she teaching at Oxford? What?
I don't think she's old enough to, like, have any memory of Ripper, so...
yeah, she didn't know Ripper, and she was kind of... At one point, she does find out about Ripper, and she looks at him like, oh, honey, we're gonna talk later.
No, we're not gonna talk. We're gonna fuck.
Well, we're gonna talk then.
We're gonna fuck while listening to one of your records, which I know you have.
Yes.
So, yeah, and there's, like, basically Buffy, the whole time they're worried, like, they're trying to get information about Glory without tipping off the council that they know where the key is and who she is.
Yeah. Yeah, and basically it's an episode just kind of about the council jerking her around, but this is also where we're finding out some stuff as viewers about what the fuck is going on with Glory. So while they're trying to get information, we're actually getting information, which is nice.
We're also getting information about Spike, because apparently, like, they've worked out an actual deal where he helps Buffy and gets paid for it.
Yeah, it kind of grew up organically, and now it's being fully functional.
I'm shocked they told the Watchers Council about this relationship.
Well, Spike told them.
Yeah, but how did they know to go to Spike in the first place?
Well, Buffy, I'm sure the council knew that he was in Sunnydale and that he was chipped.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
So, like, you know, why not talk to him about it? How did you feel about that moment where the one girl watcher was just like, oh, I wrote my thesis about you?
I don't know. James Marster seems super angular in the face this episode. I don't know what it is, but it's just kind of... Ugh.
Well, they're trying to make him look like a corpse.
I mean, I don't know. He just seemed a lot harder edged and more, like, Sting now than he used to.
He might have gone on a bit.
I swear to God, he looks 10 years older.
Maybe they got a different makeup dude.
I mean, that's perfectly fine. I don't know what's, like... It could also be just bad translation from SD to HD, because I've seen a lot of that, and it really bothers me. Like, whenever... Like, I'm glad that they're not filming windows that have light coming in anymore, because it gives that kind of black static, and it drives me insane. So...
Yeah.
Yeah, like, maybe they just didn't... HD slap.
Oh, guys, if you're not watching Drag Race, you missed a beautiful moment.
Yeah, there's a new Drag Race tonight, so...
Ooh, goody. So, yeah, they talk to Spike, and Spike's just like, yeah, sometimes she gives me a little nip of blood from the ones that are dying. It's like, wait, does she? I don't think Buffy does that.
That, I sat and thought about that for a while. Like, is that true? Like, is that true and Buffy doesn't know because he's not telling her?
Yeah.
Or is he fucking with... is he fucking with the Watchers Council?
That's... Okay, all that stuff is possible. I don't think we're going to get an answer to
I don't
that.
think so, too. But all of these are possible with Spike.
But, yeah, and it's...
Except for the first one. I don't think, like, as much as... personally, I'm fine with it. Right?
Oh, yeah.
But it's not in Buffy's wheelhouse. Unless it's going to go super dark, like Angel is doing.
Yeah. Well, okay, it's important to remember that Spike is still a vampire and is still evil.
Yeah.
Just because he's kind of got a little bit of a leash on him doesn't mean that he doesn't want to do evil. He's just powerless.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I do have to give the show credit. Like, I was worried that they were going to turn Spike good and have him be a trusted member of the Scooby Gang, and they've done part 2 without doing part 1. Which I didn't think they could pull off properly, and I was a little afraid that he'd be just another person in the gang.
Yeah.
But that hasn't happened, and they've really walked that line cleverly. So I'm sorry for doubting you.
I'm not sorry that you doubted them.
We have to talk about these fucking Knights of Byzanti. Fuck you.
Yeah. They show up out of nowhere for no reason and start attacking Buffy without any kind of a how you doing. And yeah, they're rando medieval guys with fucking long swords and shit.
I thought those were metal staves.
They have staves too, but there was one dude with, actually it wasn't a long sword, it was a bastard sword.
Okay.
But yeah, they've got fucking King Arthur style swords and armor like assholes. And so she fights some of them and pulls their mask off. Is like, let's see what you are. And it's like, ah, shit, you're human.
Yeah. I mean, why these people exist, I don't understand. Like, so it made me stop and think. And I'm like, okay, so there's this order that exists. So the knowledge of the key is not confined to the monks. There's people who know about Glory, who... are sort of have taken a generational charge to keep her at bay. It's an incredibly stupid move to go after the Slayer, but, you know, like, white men in groups don't make good decisions, so...
Yeah. Okay, men in groups don't necessarily make good decisions.
That is true, but I feel like the whiter the group is, the worse the decisions are.
That is accurate.
So just look at the cabinet.
Yeah. Congress.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, like, so there's information on Glory to be had. But the Watchers, like, why does the Watchers Council just now dig it up? So.
Yeah.
So what other organizations are out there that have information?
Yeah, how many secret organizations do we have? Is like everybody in one and just no one talks about it, so everyone thinks they're special?
Right. I guess it's like your zodiac sign. It's just, You've got one and that's your thing.
Yeah. It's like when you come to LA and suddenly you're in a band.
Are we in a band? Did you not tell me?
What the fuck do you think podcasting is?
Oh my god! It's sustained talking.
Yes, exactly. This is our version of being in a band because
Holy
we're nerds.
Shit. Oh my god. Alright. Mind blown. Yeah, there's the fight, which was stupid.
Yes. Very stupid.
There's another fight with the Knights. That was stupid. And then finally, Buffy says, you know what? Fuck you. You're going, like, you need me more than I need you.
No. Something happens in between now and then. And that's that Glory shows up at her motherfucking house.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. So.
Just chilling.
Yeah, just chillaxing there and intimidating Buffy, and she wants her fucking key.
Yep.
I believe she's a god if she wasn't so immature.
Well, so there's like big G gods and there's little G gods, and I'm pretty sure she's a little G god.
Mm-hmm.
Like gods, but before someone Mary sued their way into the Bible, gods were not omnipotent. They were just kind of like super powerful assholes, and that's exactly what she is.
Okay. Yeah. So she has this intimidating talk with Buffy.
Yep.
And Dawn shows up. And I don't really know what to say about this because it didn't really feel super tense to me.
Yeah, and that's partially because Dawn's a shitty actress.
I mean, she is in this episode. I was actually impressed with her next episode. Sorry,
I never liked Michelle Trachtenberg.
I mean, I still don't like her, but I think in the next episode she really did play angry, lost teenager well.
Okay. But yeah, in this episode she's just like, she's really convinced that no matter who the person is, Buffy can kick her ass and that she is in no danger.
Right.
But that is not the case this time. No, she is in lots of danger, and Buffy just feels helpless and horrible, and then, like, yeah, Glory bails, and she has a little bit of an epiphany.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice to see. I really like to see that moment when Buffy grows the fuck up.
Mm-hmm. And, yeah, so Buffy, like, tells off the Watchers Council and says, hey, we're gonna do this my way, and you guys need me, and there's nothing you can do about it, so... Yeah,
you're not actually... There's no consequences if I tell you to fuck off. You say you've got some information, but I'm no worse off if I fail than if I say fuck you, so let's just go with fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
Now tell me what's going on, assholes.
Right, and then we hear that Glory is a god.
Yep. How'd you feel about that?
I don't know how to feel. Like, I'm not a fan of the multiverse plot device because I feel like it's a cheat code. It gets you whatever you want for any reason.
Okay.
That was kind of my problem with Old Man's War. Because, like, we have multiple universes, but they can go into very similar universes that don't really make any damn bit of difference. And I'm like, well, then, like, are there any ramifications to crossing universes?
So I think in Old Man's War, that was just a plot device to explain why they had faster than light travel.
It is, but, like, what? I don't believe in multiverses, by the way.
Okay. So demon dimensions count in this case? Because it's not like an alternate universe.
Well, they say dimensions, which is, like, that covers a lot of ground. So I'm okay with the idea that there are infinite worlds out there, and some of them suck. And sometimes they have shitty things in them that want to get out of how shitty that world is into our relatively benign world by comparison. Now, by that rubric, are there lots of universes out there in which this is hell? I think there are. There's just... It's a fun brain exercise for me to think that there's a lot more than our reality and that it can be completely different. That said, they use I'm fine.
Much.
I'm fine with that as, like, a existential question about what the universe is. I don't like it as a plot device because you can basically just hand wave away anything you want.
Yeah, they abuse it.
So, okay, so she's a god.
Yeah.
Alright, fine, she's a god. What does that mean? Like, definition of terms here, guys. Souls.
Yeah.
Conscience.
God.
Demon. God. Not well defined. Hard to think about, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Money. You want to go and see that Stevie Nicks drag cover band this weekend?
I can't, bitches. That is a very specific event, and it sounds tailor-made to just you and me, but I gotta do some shopping this weekend.
Shopping? You have subscription services for everything. You get your food, your clothes, your underwear, and your dildos in a box every month. What else could you possibly need?
I just finished Harry Potter a couple months ago, so now I need some Harry Potter-themed stuff, and I want to decorate my man cave with some suitably dorky accoutrement, but I don't want to support some fucking child labor or NBC Universal Shineheart. So that means I gotta go on eBay and Etsy for a whole fucking day to find the stuff made by people who actually like this stuff instead of this franchise brand-managed horse shit.
Oh, dude, I've got the thing for you. You need AccioBox.
I'm not gonna say that because that's gonna summon a litter box to my hands, and that is gross.
No. AccioBox.com. Every month you get handmade, hand-curated Potter swag made by fans for fans out of love.
Really? Actually, I don't have a pithy comeback to that. That sounds pretty cool. What do I get?
Oh, you get 3 to 5 quality handmade items for just $39.99 a month.
$39.99 a month? I spend more than that on conditioner.
Yeah, you do, you vain son of a bitch. So, after you're done washing your fucking hair, head on over to acciobox.com. That's ACCIO box.com. And use the promo code UNSPOILED to get 10% off your order, you cheap bastard.
Well, alright, where can I look at this stuff before I actually throw down my credit card numbers?
Check out their Instagram, @theAccioBox, and on Facebook.
Alright, I'm sold. Prep the Flu Network, I'm coming down this weekend.
acciobox.com. Magic delivered.
Yeah, so she's obviously immortal.
Yeah.
But she obviously needs to eat.
Mhm.
And she eats brains. She eats sanity somehow.
Yeah, that's the biggest part. I'm like, why does a god need sanity from humans to not die?
Right. And the other thing that we're seeing is that she also spends about 3/4 of her time in the form of a human male. And the two of them don't share brains.
Yeah, that was really weird to me.
Yeah.
That was really weird. But we're not there yet. That was next episode.
Yeah.
So
I'm just going over, like, what we know about Glory.
right.
Yeah.
So, next episode was actually pretty good, if you ask me.
Yes.
So, like, Dawn has been listening this entire time.
Because she
knows something's up. Buffy has revealed this to the entire Scooby Gang, and this actually really bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in a fundamental level. Like, because you know what I don't like? When I was a teenager, I don't like adults telling other people my shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Especially if I don't know my shit.
Right.
That's one of the really frustrating things about being a teenager is you are a close to actualized real life person, and yet nobody treats you like one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she's always lived in Buffy's shadow.
Mm-hmm.
She's clearly Joyce's favorite, judging by all the pictures where they're together and she's off to the side. She doesn't realize that's Photoshop, but I could see how that would fuck you up.
Yeah.
You know? And, yeah, it's just, like, I really felt this. Like, everyone's talking about me, everyone's making plans around me, no one's bothering to fill me in, nobody seems to give a shit about what my thoughts are on the matter. I'm gonna go fuck shit up a Spike. Like, I'm going to act out.
Well, if nothing matters because you don't actually exist and your entire reality has been constructed, why follow the rules of society? I am down with her decisions on this. That makes absolute sense.
Right. And
it's gonna get her killed, but you know.
Yeah, and it's like, say what you want about her acting. It's not stellar, but I think the writing here helps because being a 14-year-old who's angry at the world, and now let's add the supernatural element where you actually have a reason to be angry at the world, it works for me.
Yeah.
So, Buffy's birthday party.
Man, Buffy's got to stop having birthdays. Like, just pretend it's not happening, because every single time something goes catastrophically badly.
Are we pretending I'm not having a birthday?
I don't know. Do you want to be having a birthday?
We'll discuss it later. My birthday's tomorrow, guys. I know you won't hear this for 2 weeks, but I'll be 36 years old. Yeah. Buffy has a birthday. There's a lot of presents. It's like, you know what weirds me out? What time of year is it? Because I thought I remembered her birthday being in the spring.
Who the fuck knows? I think they just throw birthdays in willy-nilly.
It's like the friend's pregnancy, which lasted 19 months.
Wow.
Yeah. It was weird.
Okay.
Yeah, so she gets, like, that was a pretty cool scene, too, where she's saying, yeah, like, the shells, I made something from the shells that we picked up at the beach that time.
Yeah.
That's actually a super good gift.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's very sweet, and it also underlines the idea of, like, oh, that never happened.
Right.
That thing that we totally remember doing didn't happen.
Right, and then they all have to kind of process this feeling that this didn't happen in front of this woman or this girl who doesn't know that it didn't happen. And yeah, it's fucking complicated.
Yeah. I love the moment where she asks, wait a minute, how old am I actually?
Yeah.
It's like, you're 14, honey. No, for realsies, how old am I? 6 months. Fuck! How much would that fuck you up if I told you that you didn't exist before 6 months ago?
I had a kind of an existential crisis. Someone planted the idea a while back, because, like, guys, if Star Trek ever happens, I'm not getting in the teleporter.
Okay.
Because they're destroying your atoms and putting together different ones later. That's not you, that's a copy of you.
Yeah.
So someone else said, well, how do you know you don't die every time you go to sleep and just wake up a copy because your brain is just... And I'm like, oh, fuck you. Like, I'm going to think about that fucking forever.
Yeah. Have you read We Are Legion, We Are Bob?
No.
Oh my god, you have to. That's like the next audio book you should do. It's a fantastic.
I still have to catch up on Dresden Files, and I have Amanda Marcotte's new book.
I give a fuck.
Yeah, Amanda Marcotte's awesome. She's friends with me on Facebook. So.
Of course she is. Anyway, so yeah, Dawn is dealing with this issue where she didn't exist 6 months ago, and she has to figure out, is anything real? What's real in context of...
We're not going to talk about her break-in?
Doing this. Okay, and then she, in order to deal with this, she decides to go walkabout, and Spike, like, confronts her, is like, you're not supposed to be outside, little niblet.
And of course, Spike has totally a cliche crush gift for Buffy.
Yeah. And Dawn totally calls him on, to her credit.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, well, fuck it, I guess I'll just follow little sis around for a while.
Yeah, they break into the magic shop.
Yeah, they do.
And she finds Giles' journal. Did you keep a journal?
No.
I never kept a journal either.
Okay, so I kept a journal for like a year when I was in Guantanamo and having the most feelings of anyone ever, because I was like 19 and you have a lot of feelings then.
Okay.
And I'm glad it's lost, like, because that was some dumb shit there.
I don't know, like, I've played Skyrim and everyone has a journal. And then there's, like, journals here with important information in it. And I think there's some journals on Alias. Like, pop culture has told me that journals are a lot more common than I feel they should be. Because who the fuck's got that kind of time?
So before the internet and stuff, people actually did write down a lot more stuff. Now we answer each other's questions on Facebook, and that's kind of like journaling, where we're writing down our thoughts on the important issues of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But we're spreading it out over all of these threads. Back when we didn't have that amazing time suck, people had a lot more time to sit down and take pen to paper and write down. It's like, oh, so today we discussed something and went to the store, and I wonder what that boy thinks about me, and no one understands me. Oh.
Well, it's also, I have a problem in that it's very hard for me to write because my hands are so fucking big that holding a pen for any real length of time causes severe cramps, which is why I type everything. And it's also why I write so terribly, because I got to get it down before it starts to hurt.
Yeah. Well, and also, we don't write letters anymore. We have all kinds of other kinds of communication. Even when you and I lived far away, we wouldn't sit down and write each other long, rambling emails about our lives. We would, occasionally text or comment on each other's Facebooks.
Yeah.
Or just, not talk for weeks because shit was busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And... it's like we're busier than we were back then, too. I
think we are.
I don't
talk about having more leisure time, but I don't think we do.
We don't. Like, adulting is a lot more difficult than it used to be.
Yeah.
And, baby boomers need to realize that.
Yeah, there's so much we need to be taking care of all the time. I feel like I'm never done.
Also, the stakes are a lot fucking higher.
Oh, yeah. You make one wrong move and you're homeless.
Exactly. And not just that, it's like, don't pay a bill, and not only do they shut off your water and you have to call them and fix it just because you didn't receive the bill or you weren't home to check the mail, but now your fucking credit is ruined.
Oh, yeah.
So, adulting is hard. Where were we? Journaling. Yeah, she reads the journal, and then she hands it off to Spike because things are starting to come together. She's about to have that epiphany.
Yep.
And then Spike, of course, being Spike, says, "Oh, it must be you." Ha ha.
Because, yeah, still evil.
This is why I'm okay with Spike, because if he was a real member of the Scooby Gang, if he had turned good, he wouldn't be like this.
Yeah, he'd be like, oh, wait, maybe I can head her off at the pass or explain this away or give her a hug. And he's like, nah, it's you.
Right? He doesn't actually, it's important that, Luke, you're a blender. It's important to me that he, the only one he seems to give a shit about is Buffy.
Yeah.
And,
'cause he's so
in a human
silly.
being, he would be nice to Buffy's sister because it's important to Buffy. But that's not how he works.
Right.
So they've managed to keep the Spike, and I was really scared that they would fuck it up, but they haven't. So, yeah. But I don't believe him.
You don't believe him about
Later, when Buffy confronts him in the mausoleum, and she says, "What the fuck were you doing?" and he's like, "Well, I needed to be there to watch her back." I don't believe him.
I kind of half believe him. He's trying to get Buffy
I think
to
he
like
believes
him.
him.
Oh, yeah.
But
he's
that's
trying to
not
get
why
Buffy
he was
to
there.
He's trying to get Buffy to like him, and, what better way to do that than do favors for her that she doesn't ask him to do.
Right.
I mean, that's modeling boyfriend behavior.
Right, but I feel like he came up with that explanation later.
Oh, yeah, he totally justified it. I think he just kind of wanted to... I think he was curious. He wanted to see what the fuck Dawn was up to.
Right.
It's like, this could get interesting. And, Buffy will have to find her eventually, and then I can just be lurking and get to be around her. This is a win-win for me. Let's do it.
Yeah. So that's how it... I mean, yeah, she confronts him in the mausoleum, and, that was actually pretty cool when she slams... when she pulls the lid off.
Yeah.
And makes him fall, and then tries to crush him with it.
Yeah. And he's like, my fingernails are wet, dude.
Yeah. Spike is a metrosexual.
Yeah. I kind of really enjoy that scene in general, just because she's, really trying to blame him for something that had nothing to do with him, and he completely calls her on it. I just love that. It's
right.
why are you taking this out on me? I didn't tell her. You let her find out like that. It's like, yeah, I knew. You guys didn't tell me shit. This is no one's fault but your own.
Right. And then we have the scene with Dawn mad that nobody told her.
Is this the scene where she cuts herself?
Well, yeah, she cuts herself, but I was actually thinking of her and Joyce and Buffy up in her room.
Oh, yeah.
The cutting herself thing, I was like, what? No.
I think that was a little bit of overkill.
Yeah.
But yeah, she just decides, it's like, okay, I don't exist. You're not my mother. You're not my sister. Fuck you.
I think that, I do think Joyce and Buffy needed to have a better answer on hand on, why haven't you tell me? When were you planning on telling me?
When you're older. Yeah, it's like, no,
there was a very recent crisis, and with Joyce's health.
Yeah.
And they could say, I would have said, we didn't want to add to what you were going through with Joyce's in the hospital.
Yeah.
We wanted to make sure that Joyce was fully recovered and that you were okay, so that we could tell you this. We wanted you to have one thing to deal with at a time.
Yeah, and that would have made a lot of sense, and she might have been able to hear that. But these bitches did not prepare.
No.
And honestly, I can't blame them. They've been kind of trying not to deal with the thing for a while, just so that they can, they've had a lot on their plate, too.
Right.
Yeah. And as we see, when Dawn's upset, she gets a little erratic. And it's harder to protect something that's erratic.
Right.
Yep.
So she finds out she's only 6 months old, or maybe she's infinitely old.
Who's to say, really? She's only been a conscious person for 6 months, but her essence has been around since it's kind of the beginning of time.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I have a question about the monk's spell.
Sure.
So, is it like screenwriting where you need to sit down and plan, like, what did Dawn go through at this time? What did, like, from what we know about Buffy, what would they do together? What is their sisterly relationship? And, like, actually sketch that out, like you're writing a computer program? Mm-hmm. Or is it more like when you're just fucking talking? Because you're not thinking of every word you're saying. You're just thinking of a concept and your mouth just sort of puts that into words that work. So do they cast the spells, like, make this a girl, and then one of the side effects of the spell is everyone's brain just sort of and fits it into place? I want to know how that works. Because it's so... I don't think it's possible to cast a spell with that level of detail.
I think what they did was kind of like when you have a working program and you build it so that it can integrate with other programs that are different, but you don't always know how they're going to react. Mm-hmm. I think that's what they did. They just kind of wrote some base code, and then they made it a learning AI, and then they set up a sandbox essentially of how would these interact, and then they just pasted that code on top of reality, and made that what happened instead, where it's like, okay, we're going to take everything that happens in the sandbox and just act like that totally happened in real life. And then it won't interrupt the larger scale of stuff. It'll just kind of mildly interact with this stuff right here in this localized area. But whenever you do that with a program, you get some weird fucking bugs.
Yeah, and the only the bugs have been relatively confined. It's only been people with mental health or physical brain issues.
No, those are from Glory. Those are not part of the relationship or the
Joyce's
reality,
illness.
The reality bending that is
Joyce's illness was not part of Glory, though.
Joyce's illness was not part of Glory, but
she was able to see that Dawn wasn't real.
But what else could Joyce's illness be from?
I mean, stress.
So these monks came in and completely warped reality.
So are you saying that this is a side effect of...
I'm saying there's no way to know at this time, but isn't the timing kind of weird?
Timing is always weird. When's a good time for your mom to get a brain tumor?
Yeah, but isn't it weird that she got a brain tumor exactly when someone went in and reconstructed half of her goddamn memories?
I mean... Yeah, but considering, like, I just went through my one of my cousins traveling to the Bay Area to move her mom out of her house so she can move into a home and got a brain tumor exactly then.
Okay.
So it's like... That's how I kind of feel about it. There is no good time to have a brain tumor.
Well, no, there's not a good time to have a brain tumor, but if you're looking for root causes and you have someone
I'm not looking for root causes. I watched 6 Feet Under. Sometimes people die. Sometimes people get sick. And it sucks. And there's not always a reason. And I'm kind of like... And I don't want to go back to thinking that there is a supernatural explanation, because this has been an important moment of character growth for both Buffy and the show, in that real life still kind of sucks and you can't punch your way out of it.
Okay. And that's something they have not expounded on at this point. Yes, it's definitely some fucked up timing for Joyce to get a brain tumor right around the time some monks are creating memories in her noggin.
I really don't want it to be that.
Yeah.
I don't want, like... I want Buffy to be an adult. And part of being an adult is sometimes you can't... When bad things happen, there is no one to punch. Other than God.
What?
Other than God.
Other than God, yes.
So,
when God gives you lemons, you get a new God!
Yes. Dawn sets her room on fire.
Just her trash can. But yeah.
Why does she have a metal trash can in her room?
Nargles? I don't know. But she's got one, and she burns her journals, and she bails, and they're like, she's gone, Buffy. And
everyone goes to look for her.
But
they start with the fucking cemetery. What? It's this fucking cemetery.
That's where people. That's where
Buffy people
hangs
show
out.
up. It's like I'm looking for my keys. Where'd you drop them? Oh, about half a mile that way. Well, why aren't you looking there? Because the light's better here. You know?
Yeah. But yeah, Dawn defies everything and goes to the hospital? ? Why did she go there?
Because the Glory's victims.
Oh,
see
yeah,
her.
the crazy people.
She wants an answer.
Yeah, and the crazy people seem to know something.
Right.
Except that they don't. They're just crazy.
I mean, they can see, but they can't always articulate.
Yeah.
The only one who can is the leftover, the last night of Byzanti fuck you.
Yeah, because he actually did know something before he was crazy.
Right.
And Ben finds her wandering around asking these people some questions and decides to befriend this little Twidget.
So, question.
Yeah.
When did you start drinking coffee?
Mid-20s.
Really? Because
Yeah.
I remember being 14, and one of the steps I took to, I'm going to be more of an adult, is I'm going to start drinking coffee.
I tried to drink coffee in my late teens, but coffee's disgusting.
Right, because like, I'm still a little gun-shy because of how much they infantilized her at the beginning of the season, but I'm like, hot chocolate doesn't seem 14-year-old-y to me.
When you're emotionally all messed up inside, you want comfort food, hot chocolate is right in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hospital hot chocolate from a packet in hot water is probably not very comforting, so.
Yeah, but it's better than nothing. I mean,
Sure.
It's better than here's an enema bag.
Okay,
Come
like,
on.
and I am totally on Dawn's side. I hate marshmallows and hot chocolate. Why? Because they usually come in a bag, and those dehydrated marshmallows that are like drier than
Dust.
Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
And they like crunch in your mouth when you're trying to chew them, because for some strange reason they've invented a kind of freeze-dried sugar that does not absorb water.
So I like marshmallows in freeze-dried or traditional form. I enjoy them muchly. So I'd be down for any kind of marshmallow they want to chuck at me.
Okay. Yeah, so they're talking, and Dawn is like, I liked how they played this, where she's like, I'm not real, she's not really being coherent. Ben thinks it's just teenage angst.
And then he clues in.
Right.
And then he feels Glory coming.
Right. And like, it was a bit of a shock that Glory is Ben.
Yeah.
I want to know how this works and why this works.
Yeah. I was super excited that these 2 episodes had 2 big reveals that actually move this fucking plot along. So
I didn't know why Ben was here.
Yeah.
Because,
or what he had to do with Glory.
Yeah, what he had to do with Glory, but also, like, he's a shitty person.
Oh,
he
yeah.
literally summoned a demon because he didn't feel like dealing with the mentally ill.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But now, oh god, I'm just putting this together now. That's how they get to the hospital, is Ben takes them there.
Right. Yeah. He calls someone to come and get them. He knows when the crazy people happen.
So is Ben real? If he is a vessel for Glory, was he, like Dawn, created for that purpose?
That's an excellent question.
I don't care enough about Ben to want to find out the answer, but it's like, I guess I care enough about Glory, even though she's got her issues.
Yeah. At least she's, like, interesting. It's like, okay, she is obviously sociopathic and kind of schizophrenic,
Mm-hmm.
and, like, but she's an immortal god with all these weird powers. Of course she's those things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think there's any way for her to not be those things.
Right.
So, yeah, she's an interesting villain. She's not mayor level, but she's better than Adam.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not hard at all.
Oh, no, it's not.
And then we have a confrontation in the lab.
Yeah.
With a fight. And, what exactly was your plan, guys?
Oh, God, who's to say?
Because you hit her with a crossbow and it doesn't work. And I feel like you knew that wasn't going to work.
Yeah, it was supposed to distract her.
I feel like Willow should have prepped the glitter first so that Buffy could, do the pocket sand thing.
It maybe had to be fresh. Who's to say? It's magic. We don't know the rules. Anyway, they zap Glory someplace, and...
That place happens to be in the fucking air.
Yeah.
Where she's doing the Wile E. Coyote.
Jess has a thing for that crap.
I've told you about the Wile E. Coyote effect, right? That's an actual economic phenomenon where the value of a stock, even though it has no value, people don't notice until they look down. Mm-hmm. So, even though, a company can be making no money, people can still be buying the stock and the price can still go up. And like Wile E. Coyote, who doesn't start falling until he realizes
there's nothing
underneath him. And it also works for currency markets. It's an actual thing. Is Wile E. Coyote is an economic principle. So
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coyote is an economic principle. This has been Random Fucking Facts with money. About money with money.
Well, that's how you got your name.
Yes.
So...
No, I got my name because you were bitches.
Yeah, that's true.
We needed, we went to, what should he be? Should he be Blow? Should he be Cake? Should he be, what other vice could he be?
Yeah. But, anyway, so... Yeah, there was that fight and they got rid of her and then they went back to regroup and talk to Dawn and they had to have their thing where Buffy assured her that even though she's not real, she's real enough to Buffy and that they're family and they have the same blood and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I mean... I felt for Dawn because I don't think in that situation I would ever believe what they were saying didn't have an asterisk.
Well, maybe you have to just roll with the asterisk. Sometimes that's all.
I mean, I've told you about my beard, right?
No.
So, she's adopted.
Okay.
Explain
to the audience what a beard is.
A beard is someone you date who kind of conceals the fact that you are same-sex oriented.
Yes.
They may or may not be into it, but, she was actually related to them. She was adopted by her aunt and uncle, who are now her mom and dad.
Okay.
Right? It's a big family, a wealthy family. And every time she had an issue where she felt picked on, still to this day, she feels like she's not a full member of the family, and that means she doesn't get as much as the others. That never goes away. Despite the fact that she has been raised since she was a baby, since she was a newborn, by these people, and has grown up with her brothers and sisters, calling them that, and they are blood relations, there's still that fucking asterisk.
Yeah, and I get that. I have that with my family.
Right.
In fact, my older brother has it even worse. He doesn't... He constantly feels like he's not part of this family just because, he wasn't born into it. He was mom's kid from a first marriage. And the thing is, that's just inside. There is nothing you can do to show the person that you love them enough that that's not real.
Right.
So, and because we've tried,
yeah.
And he still, goes off in a huff sometimes. You don't actually love me. It's we just passed the mustard, dude. It's fine.
But, I've seen how this affects people, and it's a terrible thing for poor Dawn. Dawn really did need to get out of her teenage angst years before she found this out.
Yeah. Now is a terrible time for her to know. But there's really no getting around it.
Nope.
Because shit's going down. But yeah, it's gonna affect her. But, because it's TV, maybe they will find the way to show her that they care. Because, Buffy, when she found out that Dawn wasn't real, she didn't go, well, fuck this shit. She went, oh my god, I have to protect her.
Right.
She's my sister.
And that's the thing about memories is, like, that is what's real to you. And, like, those are the memories that are in her head. The only way Dawn would not be her sister anymore is if they were to take those memories out.
Yeah.
Because, like, we are nothing but what our consciousness perceives.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's a lot of metaphysical bullshit to throw at Dawn to tell her we still love you. But, yeah, I mean... Like, it's I did not have for a second believe that Buffy or Joyce would ever abandon Dawn.
Of course not. Of course not.
And not just because they're good people, but because, like, if I remember a 12-year friendship, even if, like, I found out we just met yesterday, we'd still be fucking best friends. You know why? Because we have all this stuff. Whether it's, like, it happened as far as we're concerned. What does it matter?
Yeah. What does it matter if anyone at our college remembers us hanging out and being goofy?
Right.
It doesn't. It only matters what we perceive.
Exactly.
As far as our feelings go.
So.
Wow, that got deep.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think those are our 2 episodes.
Yeah, I gotta go to work, guys.
Yeah. We're not gonna read patrons today because it's only been 3 days since our last one. We're gonna be recording next week anyway. We're trying to get a buffer because I'm going on vacation. We don't want to miss a week. So
yeah.
Let's say goodbye, bitches.
Bye.
Bye.
That was an Unspoiled Network podcast.